Riding a motorcycle is dangerous, but is it really, or could these mistakes be avoided with the right skills and the right knowledge? Today we're in the certified motorcycle riding facility and we're going to be having a conversation with a licensed motorcycle training instructor who is going to educate and expose all of the secrets, mistakes, and misconceptions about the dangers of motorcycle riding. And together we're going to determine if this is a hobby or a passion that you would like to take on. Guys, I'm Mee, your host, and this is another episode on the podcast, On the Ride with Mee. Today we're in a facility located in a very bustling part of the city of Lagos, and this is none other than SHOWLANE Riding School. And we're going to be talking with the man himself. Everybody knows him as Mr. Show. I'm going to give him the floor and let him introduce himself. But today we're talking and focusing on the importance of attention to detail while riding, because motorcycle riding is popularly known to be a dangerous sport. So this episode is going to answer the question, is motorcycle riding dangerous? And what are the things that need to be done to keep each and every one of us safe, whether you're riding, you're a pillion, you're driving, or you're a pedestrian. So this video is for every single one. But without further ado, please, Mr. Show, kindly give us a brief introduction on yourself.
Hi, my name is Showlane Ahmed Adekunle, aka Mr. Show. Apart from being a motorcycle instructor, I'm a fleet driver trainer, heavy-duty vehicle instructor, and like I said earlier, a motorcycle instructor as well, a licensed motorcycle instructor. I have a license from Federal Road Safety and Lagos State Emergency Management Agency, that is LASEMA, and Rich Management Center. Those are the places that I got my license from.
Thank you very much for that introduction, Mr. Show. So getting right on with motorcycle riding. You see, a lot of people think that motorcycle riding has just to do with gaining balance on a bike that is loud and just moving. But I think this is a lie, because there definitely are skills and techniques that are required in order to get you from point A to point B safely on a motorcycle. So could we briefly touch on a few of these techniques that people actually really do need to learn, and the importance of learning these techniques?
Okay, let's go straight to the point. For you to learn how to ride a motorbike, let me draw attention to this part. Riding a motorbike is not like driving. You know, you can have the money to buy a B2 car today, and tomorrow you can get a Porsche car. And then because it's a four-wheel, then you'll be able to tame the car the way you want it. But in the motorcycle industry, it's totally different. Riding a motorbike, everything has to do with step by step, like a baby who is about to, from crawling to walking staggered, then from walking staggered to, walking properly. So you have to go to your riding school, The first thing you need to do is go to a proper riding school, a licensed motorcycle riding school. Then after doing that, they will be the one to tell you the basic riding things that you need to, embark on. They will be the one to explain to you from your in-class training to the field practical, to proper, just the way I've said it earlier. They will be the one to explain to you, the in-class training, the field practical, then highway assessments. They will be the one to take you step by step.
Okay, sir. So how then do we know a school that is licensed? What are the requirements for a riding training facility to be licensed?
I don't think I'm supposed to be discussing that here, but I would think I need to educate the public before you be licensed under Federal Road Safety, because when it comes to is either riding school or driving school in Nigeria, the body that is governing driving school and riding school in Nigeria is Federal Road Safety. And before you can be licensed, you need to have a class. You make sure you have a class. First of all, you go for their instructor program. They'll make sure you are licensed before you can now proceed to have your own riding or driving school. Then when you have your driving or riding school, you make sure you have everything that they've asked for, like cones, projector, TV, laptop, warning signs, they have a checklist that you need to follow step by step that you need to provide for federal road safety. Then before they will now come for verification, they will verify maybe you've been able to, get all these things that you mentioned earlier. Then after then, they will send it to Abuja. I don't know, if you're in Lagos, they will send it to Abuja for verification, for final verification. Then you can now be issued license to operate.
Okay, and then being issued a license to operate, does this also give you give you the allowance to issue certificates?
Of course. If you are being issued license to operate, then you'll be able to issue certificates. Then there's this CBT exam. You'll be able to do your CBT exam because for motorcycle riding, if you have to get the class of license for motorcycle riding, it's supposed to be under class A. So, most times we riders, especially in Lagos, we just depend on rider's card. Rider's card is just for Lagos State alone. It's not meant for federal. You are supposed to have your class A. And if you go to a proper riding school, they'll be able to, give you the certificates that will make you apply for the class A. So automatically, if you are going to any license school, they'll be able to sit you down for CBT exam, then get you your CBT certificate, then you can use that to apply for your class A driver's license.
Awesome. So let's go back to the training now for people who want to learn how to ride. What are the necessary techniques that the riding school would teach a person that the person needs to keep safe on the road?
Okay. First of all, when you register in a licensed motorcycle school, the first thing is after taking your form, they will sit you down in the class, take you through the proper channel of what motorcycle riding entails. Like, project those things to you, explain to you the way they are supposed to. When you attend motorcycle class, the first engagement in a class, we open your idea and, give you that clue of what you're about to embark on. Then after that, they will take you to the field. They will explain to you gear selection, throttle control, proper dismantling and then mantling of a motorcycle sitting position, and then gear shifting, then balancing. Then we have a lot of things that are also inbound with this beginners class. When you are done in class, they will take you to the field. They will engage you how to control your throttle properly. That is throttle control, then clutch engagement, how to balance your two-wheel. First of all, you are supposed to know how to ride a motorcycle how to ride a bicycle before you embark on the journey of how to ride a motorcycle. I will explain that to you, because if you choose to ride a motorcycle without knowing how to ride a bicycle, this engagement of balancing of two-wheel is not there. And if you know when you're learning how to ride, I don't know, maybe if you know how to ride a bicycle, the time you are learning how to ride a bicycle, you notice that you ride small, you fall, which you don't want to do that with a motorbike. So it's necessary for you to learn how to balance a two-wheel on a bicycle, which before going on a motorbike. So once you can balance your bicycle, then you'll be able to balance your motorcycle properly. That one is out of it. Then they will now proceed to throttle control, clutch engagements, gear engagements, then counter steering, U-turn, cornering, and all that.
Awesome. So in the course of the years that you have been riding and been training, what are the most common mistakes you find a lot of bikers making, both inexperienced and experienced alike?
Like I don't want to use the word of this generation. Now, you have a lot of people coming to the school and already they've purchased their bike before even coming to the school. Like, just imagine someone getting MT10 and then the person now realize that, after getting this bike, now I need to go to the riding school. And then when the person gets to the school and I say, hey, I already have my bike, I'm just coming here so that you teach me the basics of how to ride a motorcycle, it's totally wrong. Like I said earlier, riding a motorbike is totally different from driving a car. MT10 is not meant for a beginner. So if you have to start, riding a motorbike is class by class. If you graduate from class 1, you graduate after another, maybe after 8 months, you graduate to class 2. After another 1 year, you graduate to class 3. Let me explain to you properly. If you start your journey of motorcycle riding with 250cc, from 250cc, you can now graduate to like maybe a 500. From 500, you can graduate to like a 700. From 700, you can now graduate to like 800 or 1000. Not you just coming to the school after you have, purchased your MT10, then you now say you are coming for the basics. No, that is totally wrong. It's totally wrong. So those are the mistakes that most beginners used to do. Another thing is that most beginners, after graduation in school, some of them might decide to join the biking community and mingle with different riders. And by doing this, we have different riders in the community now. Your riding ability is not even up to that person that you're trying to copy. Maybe that person has been riding for over 3, 4, 5 years, and you are a beginner. Now they just say, okay, let's go to Ekiti. And Ekiti has a lot of bends, a lot of sharp bends. And you, as a beginner, you want to meet up because you don't want to fuck up. Like, you don't want them to see your lapses that you don't know how to ride. Well, meanwhile, you're supposed to ride your ride. And by doing that, imagine a professional approaching a bend with 120 km/h. You, as a beginner, if you don't know how to bank properly, you will run wild. Those are the mistakes that most beginners used to do. Copy. It is, I want to be there. I want to copy this person. I want to be here. I don't want to fuck up. I want to see them. I want them to see me that I know how to ride properly, which they are doing the wrong thing. You understand? So I've mentioned 2 things that they do wrong now. Another thing is purchasing of riding gears. That one too is something whereby beginners, they don't really take serious. When you come to, for instance, our school, if you come to our school, we'll explain to you why your riding gears are very important, and they are crucial, especially your motorcycle helmets. Don't just go and buy any kind of helmet in the market. Your helmet is the most important motorcycle safety gear that you are not supposed to joke with. You will see some of these beginners. They will go to, I don't want to mention any store name, they will go to one store and say, how will I buy a helmet 500,000, 800,000? No, when one person at one market is selling it for just 30,000 naira, then you go and buy. Despite the fact that you've seen, the sample of what original helmets will do and what fake helmet will do to you, during presentation in class. But some of them still have that, that stubborn mindset. They will still go for the inferior quality helmet. You understand? So those are part of the mistakes.
Okay, sir. So just like we listened to a mechanical engineer speak on the car side a couple of weeks back on the podcast, where he highlighted the lack of maintenance culture in the car community. I would like to say that this doesn't necessarily tend to the car community. It's okay if you have any disagreements. This is why we're having a conversation. But I would like to know if bikers pay as much attention to their bikes, and in the case where there are people who don't exactly know what to do, what are the frequent maintenance checks that should be carried out and things that should be paid attention to?
Okay, before you start your motorcycle journey, like I said, you need to go to a riding school so that they will explain all these basic things that you need to know to you before you embark on your journey. So I would like to go straight to the point of what are the basic maintenance culture for a biker. Yeah. First of all, you need to be able to check your oil regularly. There is a way you check your oil. We have different, is either with a dipstick or the engine that have a glass that you can easily see the oil inside your engine. Okay, there is a mark there that indicates where your normal gauge should be. So your oil check is very important. And secondly, your tire. Most bikers, they don't even consider the fact that this is a two-wheel, and the most important thing when it comes to motorcycle check is your tire. One, the year model of that tire really matter. You see some bikers, they are riding with tire that was manufactured 2002 backward. Imagine, this is 2025 and you are riding on a bike with 2002 tire. Guy, what are you thinking? I don't understand. That same person riding on a 2002 tire, you still see your mates doing 220, 280 km per hour. You still want to join them to do that. You know, you need to check your tire. It's very, very important. Another thing that you need to check is your chain. Always make sure you clean your chain, because if you mess up your chain, trust me, you are going nowhere. Hey, you are going nowhere. Make sure you do regular chain check and chain lubing. Make sure you lube your chain time to time. And another thing that is important for bikers to always check is their fueling. You see somebody riding, you know you are riding from Lagos to Ibadan and you refuse to fuel. In the middle of the road, you now say you want to buy fuel. No. Nobody do that. Just make sure you fuel up before you embark on any journey. And those are the basic things that you need to check. I've mentioned oil, I've mentioned chain, checking of chain. I've mentioned the tires. Now remember, another most important thing that you need to check. I could remember one video. It was recent. That person was riding on NT 1100. So I was opportune to meet that person at Ibadan. And I asked him, I said, I've not seen that before, whereby you see a tire burst on motion, a motorcycle tire burst on motion. And I said to him, I said, you are lucky, because it's a rear tire that actually got burst on motion. I said, what really happened? He said he didn't know that he was on, I think he was on 160 km per hour. That happened. Now he just heard the sound, wah, and then he was struggling to handle the bike until he was able to, find his way to park. Now, what could be the case? I said, what year is the tire? The tire year was 2022, which is still current. And I said, okay, that day that you are going out, did you by any chance gauge your tire? I said, yes. So he took it to the vulcanizer to inflate the tire. And I said, what did the vulcanizer inflate? He said he didn't know what the guy actually pumped into the tire. And I said, that is where the problem was from. Overinflation of tire can actually result to sudden blowout.
Yes, especially when the tire gets hot.
Yes, especially when the tire, our country, the weather is always hot. The tire that you're supposed to put 45 psi, 50 is even small. 70 psi, 75, 80 psi. Because I was forced to tell that person to confirm from the vulcanizer that what did he pump into that tire. He later got back to me to tell me that the person pumped 75 psi into that tire.
That was over inflated.
And meanwhile, every tire have their own specification, which is either 42 psi, 38 psi, pound square inch. That's the meaning of psi that is supposed to be in the tire. Every tire has it. The most important thing for you to do as a biker, since you might not even trust the gauge of that vulcanizer, have your own personal gauge. Gauge your tire yourself. Another thing that you need to check when they are pumping your tire, make sure that these people, they don't lose out your valve before pumping it. That is another bad idea. Any vulcanizer that you cannot easily put his nozzle, then clip it down to pump your tire, please look for another person. Because by the time they pull out that valve to inflate your tire, some of them will even cut the rubber that is holding the valve. And by doing that, it can make you lose air or motion suddenly. And that can actually lead to death wobble. Yeah, those are the factors that actually leads to death wobble. Yeah. So those are the basic things I think you need to check on your motorbike before setting out on any journey.
One thing I was expecting you to mention.
Yeah.
You kind of didn't mention.
Yeah, maybe my mind wasn't there.
Probably skipped it, the brakes.
Sorry. Your brake pads are very important. Mind you, a lot of bikers, a lot of beginners do not really know how to check their brake pads. I think you should go to your mechanic and ask your mechanic to show you, how to check. There's a way you can actually check your brake pad to be on the safer side. Now we have different kind of brake pads. The most common certified brake pads that we all know is EBC. and we still have other brands too. If you are buying brake pad, I believe you should not buy China brake pad because it will reduce your stoppage time, your stoppage time, whereby you are supposed to stop within maybe like 60 seconds. It will take you about like 2 minutes for you to stop because the brake pad that you have installed is from China. You understand? Even if you are joking with every other thing, don't joke with that. Get the original brake pads. Your brake pads are very, they are one of the essential parts that you are not supposed to joke with. So another thing that you need to check often too is your brake fluid. Your brake fluid. Do you know that brake fluid used to expire?
Yes.
A lot of bikers do not even know. Yeah, a lot of bikers do not even know. So you need to check your brake fluid and know if it has expired or not. If you ask me, in every 6 months, you should change your brake fluid. Replace it with new one. That one is very important. Very, very important.
Okay, that's actually very valid. Checking the brake fluid is just as important as checking the pads as well.
Yes.
Do you advise changing the brake fluid by going like a step up? So say somebody uses the .2, do you advise them to use the 3? Depending on the bike and how often they travel or move around, or do you think they should just stick to the manufacturer's recommendation?
Yes, like I was about to say that every bike have their own manufacturer recommendation. Like, for instance, a MT-07 might have recommendation of .3, while a VFR 800 might have the manufacturer recommendation of probably .4. Yeah. You understand? Just follow. It's always written on that cap.
Yes.
On the brake fluid cap. Is it that .3 or .4? Just follow that direction.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Moving on from that into riding proper now, there are a number of hazards that people tend to meet on the road, whether you're a biker or you're a pedestrian or you're, a car driver. But in terms of biking now, we have things like dirt, debris on the road. We have potholes, unexpected speed bumps with no warning speed breakers. We have drivers. We have pedestrians who cross under pedestrian bridges, wet roads, wet conditions, and all that stuff. What are the best ways to handle some of these hazards? Okay, let's start from wet roads. What are the best ways to mitigate accidents from happening in the cases of wet roads? Okay,
first of all, you need to make sure your tire is in top condition. Like the grade of that tire is not when you know that you're riding and it's rainy season and then you go ahead and be riding with a tire that is already, let me just say, faded, that doesn't have any grip anymore. Make sure your tire is having a grip. That is the number one thing that you need to tackle. That, okay, this is my tire. Does it still have good grip? Yes. Can you measure the grip? Is it still intact? Yes, it's intact. If that one is there, you now proceed to riding defensively. That one is very important. You are riding under wet condition, so you need to reduce your speed because the friction when the road is dry will be different from when the road is wet. So you need to do what? Reduce your speed and give proper distance between a vehicle ahead of you whenever you're riding. Because whenever you're riding on a wet condition, when you apply your brake, it won't stop as you expect it to stop. So unlike when you're riding on a dry road. So always make sure you give adequate distance between you and the vehicle ahead of you whenever you're riding.
Okay, and what of in the case of interesting pedestrians who cross in places where they're not supposed to cross?
Okay, this is Nigeria. Let me just portray like that. This is Nigeria. Riding a motorcycle in Nigeria is not actually meant for the faint-hearted. Let me put it like that. Your level of reasoning should be 100%. Like, you don't have that chances of 72%. It has to be 100%. You should be able to map your area. You should be able to say, okay, I know this environment well. Even if you don't know the environment, you should be able to scan. That is where eagle eye pops in. You should be able to scan ahead. And once you notice that there is a bus stop ahead or there is a pedestrian bridge ahead, In Nigeria, when you have pedestrian bridge, that is where people don't even make use of the pedestrian bridge. They will now cross under the pedestrian bridge.
Exactly.
So approaching any kind of location like that, make sure you just slow down. Expect anything from the passerby. Just expect that anybody can cross at that moment. Just what? Slow down. Mind you, when you are slowing down, you still need to watch your back. That one too is very important. It has to be tic-tac. Whenever you are riding, I used to tell my students, like, make sure you are checking your mirror time to time. As you are checking your mirror, check ahead. Check your mirror, check ahead. It shouldn't be, you have some riders that will just focus. It's only what is ahead of them.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like that. Dangers loom from every corner. Make sure you check your mirror every second. As you are looking ahead, still check your mirror. Look ahead, check your mirror. You never can tell who is tailgating you. You understand? When you choose to slow down, the first thing you need to check is who is behind me when you are slowing down, so that you know the position to stay before you slow down. So I don't think there's any big deal for people crossing. We are used to the system. So it's you now that are supposed to ride defensively and watch out for them.
Okay, so I think that already answers the question as well for debris, but I know that there are specific skills that you need to be able to mitigate conditions like potholes and speed bumps.
Okay.
Say I was traveling at 130 kilometers per hour on a highway that permits that speed, and for whatever reason there's a pothole on the road that I do not anticipate.
Okay.
Getting close to it, I see it. What is the best way to go about handling that in a way that I wouldn't crash and hurt myself?
Okay, now that kind of situation, you suddenly, sight a pothole ahead of you. The first reaction to that is check your mirror. Who is behind you?
Okay.
That is the first reaction. Like I said, that is the first reaction. Check your mirror. Who is behind you? And immediately you check who is behind you. Okay, there is nobody. Now, you can now switch by. There's something we call quick maneuvering, like a very apt maneuvering, whereby you see something, you react suddenly, then check who is behind you. There is nobody. That's why I say you need to be checking your mirror time, so that you just check your mirror and there's nobody. Then you take it out, bank out of that pothole, then face where you're going. But in the situation whereby you notice there is somebody in that place, that is why I say you need to check your mirror. Because if you don't check, you switching to the other lane because you want to avoid that pothole, you might actually switch to another person's lane and then they can pick you up from back.
Exactly.
You understand? Well, if you now realize that, there is someone at that lane that I'm about to switch to, the best thing for you to do, if the pothole is not too big, double up your speed so that it will run faster on the pothole.
Okay.
You understand? Double up your speed. If you can scan the pothole that, okay, this pothole is not too big, it's not too deep, it's not too big, it's not too wide. You understand? Double up your speed so that you can run faster on the pothole. But because if the pothole is not too big, then you now decided to break down finally, engage all your brake, the bike will sit.
Yes, it will lean forward.
Into the pothole.
Yes.
You understand? So, but if you now check, you're able to scan, it's just a small pothole, it's not too big, whereby your tire can quickly run over. Then double up your speed to run past the pothole.
Awesome. That's an essential, very underrated skill.
Yeah.
That people don't know anything about. Okay, moving on from that, now let's talk about sharing the road with other people. I don't know if it's people doing it on purpose, or I don't know if it's that they genuinely just are not aware, but how can we make other road users aware of the presence of a biker? How can myself as a biker be more visible to pedestrians, to other road users as well?
Okay, we have so many ways that you can become visible to other road users, that you draw their attention to you and let them know you are beside them, or let them know you are coming. There was an argument online of recent, like, does loud pipe really save lives? Yes, it does. Loud pipe really save lives, because you cannot tell me that you not hear the sound of my motorcycle when I'm beside you to draw your attention to me. You understand? Because when you're riding a silent bike, a driver might not even know that you are there. They will just switch suddenly. And meanwhile, some bikers do abuse the power of that loud pipe, scaring off other road users, like pumping their heart rates. You know, imagine carrying S1000, you just got to probably get to a driver's side, then you redline the bike suddenly. You know, the person who, you know, won't feel cool about it, and at the same time, it might not allow another biker to do that to him, you know, to him or her, or I don't know. And, you know, the person might decide to want to block another biker that is coming next time. So, but with a loud, as in with a small gas, like bum bum, like just give it to that person, let the person know that you are there. That one is fine, rather. That means you are drawing the attention of that driver to know that you are there. Another thing is that, if possible, you know, in Nigeria, we don't really have street lights. Or let me just say highway lights. We don't really have. Attach more fog lights to your bike so that you'll be more visible. If possible, again, get reflective jackets. Like, some people's gears are just black, all through black. And if you are riding like that at night, you will not be visible to other road users. Get a reflective jacket that you can wear at night. When you wear a reflective jacket at night, it will make you more visible to other road users. Get a strobe light for the rear end that will make that will make other road users identify that, oh, there is a motorcycle ahead. Make sure your parking lights are working. You know, there's a difference between the parking lights, the stationary lights, and then the brake lights. You understand? Make sure they are working. The brake lights pops on and go off. You understand? So there's a difference between the parking light and the brake light. When you ride at night, the parking light will be there steady, while the brake lights will be going off on. Make sure they are working. Don't just be that kind of rider that neglects you know, what is happening in their rear end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Some people will beg to differ on the point of lighting, being that yes, while we do not have enough lights, having extra lights on the bike might be detrimental to other road users. I could be driving and I can clearly see that there's a bike because there's a lot of light coming from the bike hitting my mirrors. Now, while that is supposed to be a safety measure for the biker, don't you think in a way that that's also detrimental to other road users?
Well, the first approach is for you to just ride defensively. That is number one. Number two, if I'm saying you should add more light to your vehicle, it's not for you to now abuse it. Instead of you adding just 2 fog lights, you now go and add 10. You understand? 10, like if you are driving a trailer. What? Why? You understand? You know, some people do abuse that kind of situation. 2 fog lights is okay, is enough. Highest, max 4. 2 big ones and 2 smaller ones. Then you need to understand where you want to on these fog lights. If you're on the highway, fine. Well, within the streets of it, Biko. So you need to consider other road users too, because they are also human beings who are also driving. So you can easily pop up their hanger by brightening your light into their screen. So you need to understand where and where. If you are within the streets, off your fog light. Why are you honing your fog light? If you're on the highway, yes, you can hone it so that you can see properly, and other road users that will see that is something big that is coming. You know, a motorcycle is fast, and when you're riding at night, pedestrian might not quickly decode that this is a motorcycle a motorbike coming. So if you have a small light, they will just say, it's Okada. It will not get to me quickly, not knowing that what is coming is very fast. But if they can see 1, 2, 3, let me just say 4, 5, 6 lights, they'll say, no, like say this one is not Okada. Yeah. The person will have to stay. Yeah, even if the person have to still decide to cross, the person will move faster. You understand? Like, no, what is coming is not Okada.
Now, this is yet another very interesting conversation that I would like to bring up. I mean, we've spoken about lights, spoken about hazards, spoken about skills and techniques, but there is something that a lot of people like to do, but they don't exactly realize that there are actually skills that are required to do that.
Okay.
I'm referring to group riding. So I know from your reaction, I can tell that you agree with it. Yeah, so can you please shed a bit more light on what group riding entails, the skills and the techniques that are required to keep one safe while group riding, and things to look out for while group riding? Okay,
for every group riding, first of all, you must have a road captain.
Okay.
For every group riding, you must have a road captain, even if it's not a club. So far, you people agree to ride as a group, nominate one person that you know that, okay, this person is skilled enough to be a road captain for that journey. Now, there is numbering, giving numbers. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. The reason behind this numbering is for you not to overdo on the highway. Now, if you go to riding school, they will explain to you the proper way to ride within group. You understand? We have staggered formation, we have straight line formation, we have different kind of hand signals. If all these things are new to you, if the person ahead of you is trying to give you a signal, you will not understand because you've not passed through the normal way, you know, to learn your motorcycle riding. So group riding is not dangerous. It's only when you have the hooligans among the group riding. They've given you number 2. You refuse to maintain your number 2. They've given you number 10. But you refuse to maintain your number 10.
You want to be beside road captain.
You want to be beside road captain. You understand? Or even ahead the road captain.
Yes.
You understand? So all those things are danger within the riding, let me just say within group riding, riding.
Yeah.
So now let me explain something to you. I don't know, I like illustration a lot. For instance, you're riding in group. The first rider, I don't know, maybe this phone can, you know, easily do that. The first rider, let me just say the first rider is here. And then there is a vehicle ahead. Let's just assume that this my phone is the vehicle.
Yes, please.
Yeah, this phone is the vehicle. And you have the road captain ahead. The road captain is overtaking from here. The second rider is supposed to follow that same place. So far, that zone is okay for you to follow that same place. If that zone is not okay for you to follow, slow down till you pass that bad zone, then overtake from that same place. Not the road captain overtaking from here, and then you go and pass here. Let me tell you the danger around that particular scenario. The road captain is passing here, and then revving his or her bike to warn this driver that there are other people coming behind to pave way. And it's that time that you went to go and pass here. They can easily take you off. You understand? They can easily take you off. So riding in group is not dangerous. It's just the people in the group that need to understand the rules and regulations behind riding in group.
Okay, so are these rules and regulations like outlined before each group ride?
Come again.
Or, like, I know while your motorcycle training school, one of the courses entails.
Of course, group riding is involved when you're coming to the school, you know, to start your beginners motorcycle journey.
Exactly.
Of course.
But while we can say that about your school, there are also bikers who have gone through other schools, and this might not exactly be a module. We also have bikers who learned how to ride by themselves and
okay,
don't exactly understand. So for the sake of these people, can we like touch on these techniques? Like, are there rules outlined before each group ride that, okay, this is what we're supposed to do, this is not what we're supposed to do, while outlining who takes what position, who is the road captain, who is number 1 and number 2? Yes.
Okay, that's why I said for every group riding there must be a road captain, and if you have a road captain, there must be debriefing or briefing, not debriefing. Sorry for that, not debriefing, briefing before the journey. The road captain must be able to brief. This is where we are going to. You are number 1, you are number 2, you are number 3, you are number 4, you are number 5. For no reason, nobody is overtaking anybody. If I want you people to move ahead, I'll give you a sign for all of you to move ahead. You must be able to follow the instruction of the road captain. If you choose not to follow the instruction of the road captain, it's better you tell them from the beginning of the journey, no, I want to ride alone. Then you go ahead before then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What makes one a good road captain?
Wow. Years of experience matters.
Okay.
Years of experience matters. Secondly, a good road captain will always look out for people, for other riders rather. A good road captain, you must be able to look out for other riders. It's not that kind of rider whereby when you pick up your motorbike, you don't even care about other road users. The next thing you want to blow.
Yeah.
You understand? So for a good road captain, you must be able to watch out for other bikers in your team. Those are the those are the things that will make you become a good road captain.
Okay.
Yeah.
On understanding those biking communication signs
Yeah,
as well.
yes, that one is number one thing that you need to understand. But I'm just talking about the passion for it. You know, for you to say you want to become a road captain, you must have that kind of spirit of, you know, watching out or
looking out for
looking out for other road, or looking out for other bikers.
Yes.
That one has to be in your mind first. Secondly, you must understand the road signs. Road signs are very important. Like I asked one biker one day, I said, do you even understand the sign left hairpin or right hairpin? Do you even understand what that means? Say he have not even come across that before. There's a sign called left hairpin and right hairpin. That kind of sign, if you don't understand it as a biker, trust me, na die. You understand? Because it's a sharp bend that is taking you almost back to the position you are coming from. So if you don't understand, that means you are going into the bush, or maybe the rear end of that left hairpin is rock. That means you are going into the rock. So road captain is supposed to understand all these road signs and know where to slow down and know where to run faster.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, let's go back to safety gears for a bit. I mean, earlier you mentioned the importance of good riding gear. You also mentioned that helmets are the most important riding gear, and that should not be compromised upon. So, you cited the example of somebody who would rather spend 30,000 naira to buy a helmet rather than 500,000 naira for a helmet, because helmets is helmets. So I want you to touch a bit on that, and let us know, are there any certifications or any things we're supposed to look out for while buying helmets? What makes one helmet more expensive than the other? And are there mid-range brands that give you close or similar quality as the high-end ones that people who cannot afford the high-end ones can actually look into?
Okay, like I said earlier, we have different kind of helmets. Then we have different kind of certification bodies that are, you know, producing these helmets. Sorry, in Nigeria, we don't even have a certification body for helmets. What we have in other countries, like for instance, we have EC, Economic Commission of the Europe. Then we have Snell Memorial Foundation. Those are just voluntary bodies. We have DOT, which is the most common one. That is the Department of Transportation of the United States. So we have BIS too. So we have few numbers of certification bodies that whereby when you are purchasing any helmet, you need to make sure that this certification body, their crest, you have it on your helmet before you purchase any one of them. Mind you, we still have this China helmets in the market too, coming with these certification bodies crested on their helmet too. It's just for you to know that, okay, where am I buying these helmets? Anything that has to do with motorcycle riding is not cheap. Trust me, it's not cheap. From your helmet to your riding boot is not cheap. Motorbike is not a cheap hobby. So if you know you are spending money on any gears, make sure you go to the right store, whereby you know that, okay, this is where they ship from. Their product is from US or their product is from UK, or no. Make sure you know the store you are going to purchase this helmet, and make sure you have this certification body. When you pick up a Chinese helmet that is fake and the original helmet, you can feel the weight. It's different. Another thing that you need to watch out for is date of manufacturing on your helmet. There is always this strap inside these helmets that used to carry the date of manufacturing that they produce that helmet. Your helmet should not last you, or you should not use your helmet more than max 7 years. So if you are using your helmet more than 7 years and you are still using that helmet, it won't protect you anymore. Because when you have direct sunlight to your helmet, probably after a ride, then you hang it on your visor or your mirror, and then you have direct sunlight to hit, those kind of situation makes helmet degrade. And then when the helmet has actually overstayed too, it will make the helmet degrade. And when the helmet degrades, the safety value will also drop. So for instance, you keep your helmet on your motorcycle tank and then the helmet just suddenly drop on the floor. That kind of situation too, the helmet is also degrading. So if you ask me, after every 6 to 7 years, replace your helmet. And then if you want to check out for the expiring dates of your helmet, for instance, this is 2025, you are buying another helmet for 2025, make sure the manufacturing date of that helmet should be between 2024 to 2025, so that it will last you another 5 to 6 years.
Okay, are there any riding gear that people tend to overlook?
Normally, I see some bikers riding with short hand glove. They should understand that when you crash and this palm, if you get on the quota, it's going to, to burn fast, especially when you're running. When you're riding with short hand glove, which is not meant to be, like, you're not supposed to be riding with short hand glove. What about these remaining parts? What is going to protect them? So make sure you're riding with full hand glove. Meanwhile, if you are still riding with full hand glove and it's mesh hand glove, it still has its own disadvantage too. Mesh hand glove does not really protect. If you ask me, I prefer the leather hand glove to the mesh hand glove, because the mesh hand glove is something whereby if you get to the quota, it's going to burn faster. Unlike the leather hand glove, the quota will not pity you because you are wearing mesh or you are wearing leather. But when you do the right thing, you know that you are doing the right thing. At least when you crash and you are sliding with your palm, before the quota gets to your palm, the leather will have, do his work.
Yeah.
You understand? So if you ask me, for hand glove, leather glove are the best. And secondly, I see a lot of riders riding with short ankle boots. You are riding from Lagos to Ibadan and you are wearing short ankle boots. It's meant for within the town. And the reason why that is meant for within the town is just because of the speed. Because you will not be running too fast. But if you ask me, the long riding boots is more protective. Because the short ankle boots will not protect you the way the long riding boots will protect you.
Yeah.
So if you ask me, you're not supposed to be riding out of the city. So I mean interstate ride with short ankle boots. Yeah, and then jackets. We have mesh jackets as well, and then we have leather jackets. If you ask me, leather jackets are more protective than the mesh jacket. But because of our harsh weather, a lot of rider tends to go for the mesh jackets. So yeah, it's fine. But if you are getting the mesh jacket, make sure you are buying the original jacket. That is my home concern. Make sure you are buying the original mesh jacket, and if possible, wear a spine inside your mesh jacket. Before you wear your mesh jacket, wear a spine and wear your mesh jacket on it, so add more safety value to your body. And when we are talking about the trousers, yes, we have mesh trousers too, but leather trousers are more protective. But because of our weather, like I said earlier, you can still go for a mesh trouser, but make sure you are getting the original mesh trouser. Another thing that I see that riders neglect again is I think I've mentioned helmets, I've mentioned hand glove, I've mentioned trouser,
You mentioned jacket.
I've mentioned jacket as well. So that's all for now.
Okay, that's awesome. So I think I'm currently out of questions.
Okay.
So I'll give you the floor now to play around, and if there's anything you feel like I've left out, please feel free to talk about.
Okay. I think I need to talk about the bikers joining the community now. Things that they do that they are not supposed to be doing. When you join the biking community, don't mingle with people that will lead you to early grave. Biking is dangerous, at the same time it's not dangerous. It's the aspect of, or let me just say, it's the angle whereby you choose to understand it. Biking is not dangerous. If someone asks me, biking is not dangerous. But when you choose not to follow the procedure, like for instance, you see a biker that just joined the community, just graduated from the school, it's not even up to 3 months. They now call for a ride between Lagos to Ibadan. Then you're riding with the professionals that have been riding for over 5, 6, 7 years. Now you want to compete with them, just to let them know that you too, you know how to run. It's a mixed understanding there. Speed does not identify you to be a good rider. It's not all about speed. No. there are some things that are meant for the track. There are some things that are not meant for the public road. The things that are meant for the public road, let it be for the public road. What is meant for the track should be for the track. Imagine as a beginner, you follow some professional riders that have been riding for a very long time, and they don't even care about you. And you're riding, they are doing 280, 290 kilometers per hour. You as a beginner, you are trying to catch up with them, which is totally wrong. Now, when we are talking about speed, even for a beginner or a professional, moving too fast beyond the way you're supposed to move on the public road, if you ask me, is not really making any sense. Because anybody can open throttle. It's not all about opening throttle. Anybody can open the throttle as far as you have the mind. Anybody can open throttle to 280, 290, 300. But when the emergency surface, can you handle it? When the growth is crossing suddenly, can you handle it? Imagine doing 280, just imagine doing 280, doing 290, and then you have your front tire. Suddenly, the air in your front tire just disappear on 280 or 290. I know you ride too. Just imagine that.
That's a depth mobile situation.
I'm telling you. Yeah. And that is another situation whereby your bike can actually get involved into a depth mobile.
Yeah.
And just imagine that. I think when you are speeding, you should consider all those factors. All these things are man-made. This machine that I'm talking about is man-made. Anything can go wrong. So when you have that kind of mindset, you ride safe. Riding too fast or riding very fast does not mean that you're a professional. Number one, you're not supposed to be riding too slow. And you're not supposed to be riding too fast. If you're riding too slow, there is danger behind it. If you're riding too fast, there is also danger in front of it. So you are supposed to ride intermediate. Not too fast, not too slow. You understand? So
just ride within your limits.
Is that?
Ride within your limits.
Ride within your limits. Ride your own ride. Don't let anybody tempt you. Yeah.
Okay, this has been a very awesome session. Thank you very much, Mr. Show, for agreeing to be our guest. So now I'm going to throw it to you now, our beautiful audience. Mr. Show has shared his 2 cents, but what are your thoughts? Is motorcycle riding a dangerous sport? Let me know your answer to this question in the comment section. And if you have any other thoughts you'd like to share, any opinions at all, it is that you have any questions you'd like to ask, please drop them as well in the comment section. And I would like to bring it to an end here. Hopefully you've enjoyed this particular episode, but I trust that you have. So I'm going to ask you to do the usual. Please do want to subscribe to the channel. If you haven't yet, give this a thumbs up, share it, and turn on the post notifications so you do not miss any single update, especially from the automotive sector. Thank you guys once again. Thank you very much, Mr. Show.
Thank
it's
you.
been great to have you on. This session has been very insightful.
Yeah, sure.
We appreciate you. We hope to see more careful riders on the road.
Yeah, sure.
Emphasis on that careful riders, because this is fun. You're riding to get to your destination and having fun while at it, not trying to get hurt, trying to prove a point. Which pretty much summarizes everything Mr. Show has said today. Till our very next episode on the podcast on the Ride with Me, I remain me, your beautiful and awesome, very cool host. Cheers.